Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Dodo the Natural Hair Gallery. How are you guys doing? Today it's been a while. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today I would like us to take a look at this topic. Is hair growth really genetic? Is hair growth really genetic? Or we could also term it the hair growth debate: nature, lifestyle, and the mind. Is hair growth entirely determined by your genes? It's a question. Is hair growth entirely determined by your genes? Or can your lifestyle, environment, and daily habits influence how your hair grows? In this video, we explore the fascinating relationship between genetics, epigenetics, nutrition, stress, scalp health, and mindset. While genetics provides the blueprint, many other factors can influence how those genes are expressed over time. Alright, let's separate myths from science and discover what you can actually control. If you've ever spent any time on the internet, you probably heard two completely different opinions, a whole lot of different opinions. As a matter of fact, by the time women serve the enter internet, and some people say it's genes, some people say it's not genetics, some people say it's this, and so there are quite different opinions concerning hair growth. But one group says if your parents didn't have long hair, you will never have long hair. Another group says genetics don't matter, anyone can grow waist length hair. So who is right here? Who is right? The answer lies somewhere in the middle. So let's look at part one of it. Okay, your genes are the blueprints. Let's look at what genes is all about, and we term it part one. All right, your genes are the blueprints. Let's begin with genetics. Every one of us inherits genes from our parents. Those genes influence many characteristics of our hair, including hair texture, hair density, hair color, hair follicle shape, the average length of the hair growth cycle. For example, some people naturally have thicker strands. Okay, others naturally have finer strands. Some people's hair grows for many years before shedding. Others have shorter growth cycles. So yes, genetics matters. Genetics does matter. But here's what many people don't realize. A blueprint is not the finished building. A blueprint is not the finished building. Let me quickly give you my own story. When I started out with my hair, I think it was someone actually told me I was getting bald, and I vehemently refused it. That it wasn't possible. And as a matter of fact, the thing was the fact that I didn't see it. It was just right at the center of my head. You know that bald head that you have at the center that you can't see. You're looking at the mirror, you can't see it. Now somebody will tell you, say you don't get bald for the middle of your head because you cannot see it. But being a scientist, I started like, this cannot be. I'm too early to be bald. I'm way too early to be bald. There has to be something wrong somewhere. And then I knew at some point that I had been going through stress. I knew at some point I'd been going through a lot of stress. But it didn't occur to me that it could affect my hair. It never at one time occurred to me that it could affect my hair. So what I now started to do, as a matter of fact, was to start to look for a way out. All right, started to look for a way out. How can I do this? So I started to do studies here and there, and voila, I never accepted that fact that I was balding. So I started to work on it. And yeah, I am today talking about hair, not because generally I couldn't have been bald, but because I started early to work on the stuff. And that's one of the things I would tell anyone out there. Whatever it is, whether it's genetics or there are things in science that are always coming up every now and then. Because you don't know does not mean that these things are not working. So, and some of those things we're going to talk about here. So let's look at part 2. Let's look at part 2, introducing epigenetics. Introducing epigenetics. What if your genes were like a library filled with books? What if your genes were like a library filled with books? Not every book is opened. Not every page is read. This is where epigenetics becomes interesting. Epigenetics studies how lifestyle and environmental factors influence how genes are expressed. It doesn't rewrite your DNA. Instead, it influences which genetic instructions are switched on and which remain less active. Did you hear that? It influences which genetic instructions are switched on and which remain less active. That's epigenetics. Now, part 3, what can influence hair? What can influence hair? Now we've talked about epigenetics. We're introducing the fact that we know genes doesn't matter, all right? But there's something called epigenetics where it's using the analogy of a library where some books are opened. Not every book is opened, not every page is read, so epigenetics studies how lifestyle and environmental factors influence how these genes are expressed. All right, so it doesn't rewrite your DNA as a word. Instead, it influences which genetic instructions are switched on and which remain less active. And how do we do that? How can this influence our hair? That's where the part 3 now comes in, where nutrition is number 1. Hair follicles are among the most active tissues in the body. They require adequate protein, vitamins, minerals, and energy to function well. Poor nutrition can contribute to weaker hair and increased shedding. So we're looking at what can actually influence our hair based on epigenetics, all right? So we've said that 1, nutrition. Now we'll also look at scalp health. A healthy scalp creates a healthier environment for hair follicles. Inflammation, dandruff, excessive buildup, or untreated scalp conditions may interfere with normal hair growth. Inflammation, dandruff, excessive buildup, or untreated scalp condition may interfere with normal hair growth. So that's another thing, your scalp health. The next one is stress. Chronic stress doesn't just affect your mind, it can also disrupt the normal hair growth cycle. Chronic stress doesn't just affect your mind, it can also disrupt the normal hair growth cycle, leading to increased shedding in some people. Managing stress is therefore part of caring for your hair. That's stress in its part. Now, sleep is another one that can influence our hair. Sleep. While you sleep, your body repairs and renews tissues. Consistently poor sleep may affect many aspects of health, including the health of your hair. Another one is hair care habits. Even if your follicles produce healthy hair, poor handling can cause that hair to break before you ever notice the length you gained. Sometimes the problem isn't slow growth, it's just poor length retention. So we have actually looked at how epigenetics does influence our hair. Now let's look at the part 4. What about visualization? Now this one is something a little bit, this is where opinions often differ. Yes, opinions. Some people believe that positive visualization, affirmations, and mental focus directly stimulate hair growth, which I think I'm a believer of that so strongly. Because what the visualization will do for you is you're trying to program your mind to see a part of you that you're not seeing. So you are in a particular position and you're visualizing your hair growth, and then you are sending that into your subconscious. So what now happens over time is once your subconscious picks it up, it now starts to look for answers to bring about that you're visualizing. I don't want to go to do so, but let's look at the write-up here. This is where opinions often differ. Some people believe that positive visualization, affirmations, and mental focus directly stimulate hair growth. At present, there is no strong scientific evidence that visualization alone makes hair follicles grow faster. However, visualization may still be valuable. Why? Because it can encourage healthier habits. Alright, someone who believes in caring for their hair may become more consistent with moisturizing scalp care, eating well, reducing stress, and protecting their hair. Those behaviors, not visualization by itself, can support healthier hair. Yes, it can support healthier hair. Now, part 5 of that, this stuff that we've been talking about, there are just other factors aside what we have enumerated. Alright, so there are several additional influences on hair growth. And one is age, hormonal changes, certain medications, medical conditions, smoking, environmental damage, tight hairstyles, heat, and chemical damage. Now, these factors can affect how healthy your hair remains over time. Yes, it can affect how healthy your hair remains over time. Now, in conclusion, so is hair growth genetic? Yes. Is it only genetic? No, it's not only genetics. Now, think of genetics as the foundation. Epigenetics, nutrition, scalp health, daily habits, stress and management, proper hair care all influence how much of your hair's potential you actually achieve. So you may not be able to choose the genes you inherited, but you can influence the environment in which your hair grows. Yes, you can influence the environment in which your hair grows. So genetics is not all in all. You have the ability to switch on some of those genes, and you also have the ability to switch off some of those genes based on your lifestyle, the environment, the influences that you have on the outside when it comes to your health or your hair, when it comes to your hair or your health generally. So now here at Natural Hair Gallery, that's the Natural Hair Gallery, we believe healthy hair begins with knowledge. Okay, not just guesswork, with knowledge. And usually some of the things that I talk about here are out of experiences. If I probably thought that my hair was all genetic, I just would have just accepted it. When the guy told me that I was going bald, I would have just said my genetics. Means if I don't notice on my papa, I'll be like, say by 35 I don't see I'm saying don't be bald. But I refused to accept that. I refused to accept that, and I started to work on it. How? By looking for information here and there, and not just only looking for those information, but also carry those information out. What is working, what is not working. What is working, I continue. What is not working, I don't. And then I go on and on until even at my age now, I can hardly see gray hair or even bald anyway. It's really fascinating. Even myself, by the time I look myself in the mirror, I'm like, can this be true? So it's possible. It's very, very possible. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe for more science-based practical lessons that help you understand your hair and care for it with confidence. I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then, take care of your lovely self, and bye for now.